What's going on, everybody? Today we're going to be talking about Denis Villeneuve's latest film adaptation from the Frank Herbert novel, Dune. So Dune tells the story of Paul Atreides, a brilliant and gifted young man born into a great destiny beyond his understanding, must travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe to ensure the future of his family and his people, as malevolent forces explode into conflict over the planet's exclusive supply of the most precious resource in existence. Those who can conquer their fear will survive. So I'm a huge fan of Denis Villeneuve. I've been a fan of him for a long while. I think he's one of my favorite directors working today. And any project that he gets attached to, I'm going to be intrigued just a little bit more than I would have. Also, I think the trailers for the film have been nothing but extraordinary and wonderful, so my expectations for this film is sky high. I'm going to go ahead and talk about this film as someone who has never read the novels, have never seen the miniseries, have never watched the movie. So I'm going as blind as I possibly can. With that being said, I might not be the only one who feels this way, who has not done all three of them. I'm just giving you my thoughts, and I hope that it will enhance yours as well. So without that being said, let me go ahead and get into the positives of the film. There are a lot of positives in the film that outweigh the bad that I'm going to be getting into later. Now, starting off with what I can say about the positives, the first thing that I want to talk about is the cinematography for the film. I think Greg Fraser, I'm not sure if I said his name right, but I do apologize if I did mispronounce his name. I think he did a wonderful job with the film, with the cinematography of the film. It was on point, and there was a lot to enjoy in the film. A lot of things that were really shot really clearly. Some of the nighttime sequences didn't vibe with me as much as I wanted to, but whenever it did, it really enhanced the film, and it really gave us a little bit more of that little oomph that we needed in the film, and it really captures your attention from the very beginning of the film to the end of the film. You really are enticed with a lot of the cinematography, the way it looks, the costuming of the film, the designs that that you see in the film. Everything is on point, and a lot of it does shine in this film, and that's something that weighs out the bad. Because speaking of rich things, the mythology in this film is really rich and really dynamic, that enhances the film. It really upsets me because I'm not sure if the second part is in production, or if they're going to be waiting until the box office results for the film to see how it does so they can greenlight the second part. It really does give a little bit more, and it makes you want a little bit more clarity. It gives you a little bit more insight into the film, and this was the first time that I actually saw Timothée Chalamet in anything. He had a little small role in like Men, Women, and Children and Interstellar, but I didn't remember those films as fondly as I should. And so this was basically kind of my first time seeing him lead a film. I've never seen Little Women. I've never seen Call Me by Your Name. I've never seen Beautiful Boy. But I've heard he is nothing but wonderful, and he shines in this film as Paul Atreides. And Rebecca Ferguson as Lady Jessica, she also shines in the film. These two are the ones that get the bulk of the film, and they are the ones that get the meat of the film. They are the ones you are following from beginning to end, and they really give you a little bit more of their personality, their charm, the way they interact. Whenever they are on screen, their chemistry really lights up the screen, and it makes you want to follow them a little bit more, which is a little bit of a bummer because with part 2, maybe part 3, we don't know if we're going to get those. So hopefully we do, so we can get a little bit more of these characters, because I think they were rich. I thought they were great, and this film makes you want to live a little bit more in it. It has a lot of rich stuff there's a lot of rich material in this film. It makes you want to go on more adventures in this world. If Timothée Chalamet and Rebecca Ferguson didn't work in this film would be a complete misfire, because I think they really do shine a lot. And going into the mixed side of the film, you do get a stacked cast from Oscar Isaac, Stellan Skarsgård, Josh Brolin, Dave Bautista, Zendaya, and David Dastmalchian. And when you have a stacked cast like this, a lot of people get shoved to the sides, and you don't get to see them as much as you want to. Zendaya is most of the criticism that you'll hear from everybody. A lot of people going into the film knew that was going to happen, but a lot of people that didn't know about the material of the film that didn't know, so they expected a lot more from her. I knew that she wasn't going to get the bulk of the film because I've heard that this is part one of two. So a lot of the cast gets sidelined. Some of them, whenever they are on screen, they really do shine and they elevate the film a little bit, just a little bit more. However, with Zendaya, a lot of people will say that she doesn't have a lot of screen time in the film, which is true. She's in it probably like about 35 minutes of the film. Most of it is just like flashbacks, so you do get to see her as a presence throughout the film. The way that Timothy Chalamet dreams about her, like you see in the trailers, but you don't get to hear a lot from her. You don't get a lot of lines from her. I think she has like 5 or 6 lines in the film, but she is a presence to Timothy Chalamet's Paul Atreides character, who is basically enticed by this girl that he keeps dreaming about and wants to go on this adventure trying to find her, what's going on with his dreams. I think that's something that's also goes into the positives, but a lot of people don't get a lot of screen time. A lot of the things that you do see, even Javier Bardem, and this is going into something that I forgot to mention into the positives, but I might have mentioned it. The way that the visuals and the costume design is presented on the film, some of the actors you don't recognize, like Stellan Skarsgård and Javier Bardem. They actually presented something that is really impactful and it packs a punch. And going into the negatives of the film, I don't have a lot of negatives in the film because they are just like minor nitpicks that I had with the film. Some things that I wish could have done better. I think the way that the film wraps up is just abrupt and it could have had it a little bit more. Also, the runtime of the film, it's clocks in at about 2 hours and 35 minutes. And some people who don't know this is a part one, even though like when the film starts, it clearly tells you that it's Dune Part 1, but a lot of people think that is the story structure of the film. Something that you see in films like this year's Wrath of Man, where you have like the title sequences in Suicide Squad, when you have like those little titles letting you know what part of the story it's in. A lot of people will just assume it's that kind of story structure when it's not. It's just one complete part. And going into the film, I didn't think that they weren't going to put that part 1 until probably like the end, or they weren't going to do it at all. But I really thought that the way that the film wrapped up a little bit abruptly, because the way that the last 15 minutes of the film played out, it really did work for me, and it was really enticing. It was really engaging. It had you at the edge of your seats. And this, even though this movie is 95% talking and 5% action, I think when the action is on screen, it's great. But even though this film is a thinking man's movie, a lot of people that aren't into that kind of films will either get bored of the film easily and want more action, or they're going to appreciate what they're showing on screen. This movie is not for everybody, but it really left me a little bit cold at the end because I wanted a little bit more. And I do think for me personally, the runtime did drag a little bit longer because there are a lot of scenes with heavy expositions so that the audience can get wrapped up into this world. But a lot of the things that I wish could have done better was we could have scaled a little bit down on the monologues and everything else. I wish we could have just had we could have hindered a little bit more on the supporting cast, just a little bit longer, but I understand why they didn't. Overall, I'm going to go ahead and give Dune an 8.5 out of 10. I thought this movie was rich. I thought there was a couple of nitpicks here and there, but most of the rich and enduring mythology of the film outweighed the nitpicks that I had with the film, and I enjoyed the film a lot more. And especially a lot of that has to do with the beautiful cinematography of the film, because every little shot of the film is really brilliant and it has a lot of things to say and show. But what did you guys think about Dune? Did you not like it? Did you enjoy it a lot more than I did? Are you going to go out to theaters and check this film out, or are you going to watch it on HBO Max? And if you do watch it on HBO Max, Let me know if it will entice you into going into theaters and watching it on the biggest screen possible, because I think this is a film you need to support out in theaters because it is really engaging. It's rich. There's a lot of things to enjoy. And I think the way that the film looks on screen is just awe-inspiring, and it makes me want to stay in that world just a little bit longer. But let me know down in the comments what you think. And until next time, I'll see you on Josie's Reviews.